everywhere all at once. So hopefully YouTube's up. YouTube should be up right about now. It's been a long day, guys. It's been a long day. I did Discord for sure. That one I remember doing. Twitter, I think I did Twitter. Yeah, I did Twitter. I love today's thumbnail. I made it myself. Made it myself. Very proud of my work today. Let's see. I just got to make sure that it works. YouTube is live. Everything should be live. This is a great day. One of those rare days when everything works. Discord Pink never has links because I'm lazy. Because I forget. Fine, I'm gonna put the links. Because apparently everybody wants to criticize me. I'll put the fucking link. You know what's criticizing me? Radar said one thing. I'm just being sensitive. I'm gonna be honest. Radar said one thing. I'm just being sensitive. But sure, I will put the links. I should put the links more. I feel like Radar is giving me good advice, but I need to stop being a big baby about it. It's a good day. Good day. Hey, Paris. I haven't seen you in ages, Paris. It's always good to see you. The thumbnail is incredible tonight. It's one of I made that myself. I made that myself, and it was a work of fucking genius. Thank you again to all my patrons whose name you probably see scrolling at the front every single stream. It's all right, Momo Gigi. I'll put the links from now on. From now on, for you, the cat on my shoulder, I'll put the links every time. Here's some Webcomics Hub lore. Here's some Webcomics Hub lore, gang. So tell me if the audio is loud enough, too loud, too flat. Just let me know all that stuff. Here's some minor webcomics lore. My cat is based off of a drawing that Momo Gigi once drew. The cat on my shoulder in the thumbnails, in all the clip stuff. A cat that I saw Momo Gigi draw once. That's really it. I like white cats. Yeah. Still don't like her though. She's terrible. But I did like the drawing. Yeah. So I swear to God, you're a mod. Don't make me ban you. So I swear to God, I'll ban you. Don't you write that in my chat, in my Twitch chat, because I only stream on twitch.tv for sure, 100%. You stop doing that. You stop doing that. Okay, all right. Today's episode 4. Guys, we're a few weeks into the year and we're on episode 4. I've got so much to share with you today. Actually, like so much to share with you. And I'm so happy that I can. People on YouTube, there's no YouTubers. There's no YouTube stream, 100%. I definitely signed that Twitch contract for that lets me get money from bits and subscriptions, which meant that I have to only stream on Twitch for sure, 100%, 100. That's a joke, by the way. I don't actually care. Anyway, sorry, gang. I'm just cleaning up a few things, a few things on my share browser just to make sure that I don't accidentally leak anything. I often do this before the stream starts, but I've been really busy today. No, looks, if I come back, I need you. Without you, I'm fucked. You're like 98% of my audience. Exactly, Paris. Paris gets it. Paris is perfect. She understands. They understand. By the way, I need to be clear. If it wasn't obvious, the thumbnail, I made it. Okay, they did not tweet it. They never tweet stuff like that. I just like tweets like this. It's a callback to my Clip Studio Paint thumbnail that I made ages and ages ago. Really love that one. So, thank you. People really coming for the thumb, man. The thumb really carries so much. The thumb is carrying me. This is branding. So guys, when I do my workshop on branding and Webtoon branding, you can see that I'm an expert. It's not libel because it's fake, because it's obviously fake. Also, yeah, no, it's not libel. It's not libel. It's not libel. Not yet. Alvin, don't you fucking dare. Wait, Alvin, aren't you British? Don't call me. Don't do this to me. You're supposed to be on my side. Okay. All right, let's start. This episode, much like every other episode of the Webcomics Hubcast, is brought to you by my patrons on Patreon. More on them at the end. Anyway, welcome to today's episode of the Webcomics Hubcast, Season 3, the year of our Lord, 2023. I'm your host, Nen Big Chungus. Today's episode is called Downsizing. Downsizing. Don't ignore the actual name on YouTube. That's for metrics. These are the names I use in production. That's why they're there. So I've got so many things to talk to you guys about today. The obvious one is the thumbnail one, but before we get to that, let's talk about a few other things around. First things first. Did you guys know that? Do you guys know about Scott Adams? Sometimes I give you information that you guys aren't super interested in, but I want to just kind of bring you in with what I know about Scott Adams, if you will. Scott Adams is the creator of a comic called Dilbert. If you guys know Dilbert, great job. You're a boomer like me. If you don't know Dilbert, good. Honestly, you shouldn't know Dilbert. It's not worth it. Anyway, Dilbert was a comic that was a comic that ran in like news strips and stuff for a long time. As far as I remember Dilbert being online a lot. That was the Dilbert I grew up with, just being on Twitter, being on iFunny and stuff like that. It's basically a comic, it's like an Office Space type comic. If you know Office Space, the movie stuff, just about it's supposed to be a story about like, wow, modern day is so fucking weird because the guy's old. As far as I remember, this is what I remember of Dilbert. I don't have a lot of personal links to it. I will admit that now. But the creator of Dilbert is, for lack of a better word, at least tangentially related to white nationalists. I think that's the best way I can say it. He said a lot of nasty stuff in an interview, but the thing is, for a very long time, he's been parroting white nationalist rhetoric and dog whistles in his comic, in his work, and on by himself. He says a lot of things that, how do I put it? He made an intentionally provocative YouTube video, which he promoted as something that would get him, quote unquote, canceled. And in his video, he basically says, white people should stay away from black people. And when he said that, he was like, how canceled am I gonna get? But he generally has always been parroting a lot of this far-right bullshit. And he's generally this. Like, I don't know what to say. The creator of Dilbert, Scott Adams, has been this for so long. In my knowledge, this isn't unusual to me. But I guess the question that really came up for me as a creator too is like, I don't know about the rest of you. How much of you guys have that creator creation separation? Like, do you separate the creator from his work? If you liked Dilbert, let's pretend there was a universe where you liked Dilbert, but then you heard him say white people should stay away from black people, because for obvious terrible reasons that he has. Would you still read Dilbert? And this is a long conversation, I think, as creators that we're going to have forever, over and over and over again. Because for me, what it really reminds me of, like, don't get me wrong, this is absolutely blatant racism. And, I'm black. So, like, I particularly like this. But I'm asking these questions because I'm also thinking, like, a lot of creators I've seen draw the line here, but they don't draw the line at, like, J.K. Rowling making money off of that fucking game. Or, like, other IPs where where artists are horrible, but the art they make is something that is beloved by a community or by people. Do you separate that? Can you separate that? What's the conversation that the community is having right now? And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't judge you if you do any of these things. At the end of the day, if you genuinely aren't a white nationalist or a weird turf, I'm not mad at you. I don't have time to be mad at you. You're not really worth being angry at. My position on this is my position. But it's interesting to me because I want to know if people have a different position on this from me. I've already seen the chat. I feel like I already had this convo when it was HB and JKR. Yeah, we did Momo Gigi, and that it's still back because it's a never-ending debate. The artistic never-ending debate. I love that Crow is surprised by what they said. Crow, he said worse than that. And Paige says, you cannot separate art from the artist, especially with this one. You think so? Cheese really went, I read Dilbert. Cheese, no! Don't get canceled on in my chat. Separate the art from the artist is for when the artist is dead. And we are discussing the impact the creation had on the industry or whatever right now, Sola says. And Kiki in chat says, I think it's fine to enjoy the media as long as you don't financially support or are hateful. I actually really agree with the financially support or are hateful one because for the Harry Potter one, I think I've said this before, but I'll say it again. I'm a big Harry Potter fan. Like, your boy knows some deep lore. Like, ooh, I've read the Tales of Beetle the Bard. I read Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I'm a Pottermore regular. Well, I used to be, like I used to have all that information and I used to be really deep in that. I know a lot of the deep lore. Like, like I read a lot of, I've watched the fucking play. I've read the book that's a play and I've watched the play, right? I've read a lot of fan-made tangential creations. So for me, I don't know. Like, for me, I really agree with don't financially support the little hateful bastard, and don't engage with them in that way. But at the same time, if you like the work, you like the work, and you can't really change who you've been. You can't beat yourself up about the thing you used to enjoy, I think, or you still may enjoy. Kevin in chat says, I don't think you can separate the artist from the art, especially when the artist and writer being the same person, like with Dilbert. Fair enough. And it's definitely hard for some people because they're especially attached to IP. There are cases that can separate them, but sometimes it's really difficult. I feel, and I'm going to make a controversial statement here. So like you guys, come at me if you want to. I'm not, again, this is a conversational environment. I love you. I respect you. I'm not here to talk down to you. But I feel personally, like if you're so attached to a comic, to a book, to a whatever, that you can't look at it and understand that the creator is a problem. Are you 5? Like, I feel like I'm talking to a child when that happens. Like, when I was a kid, if you told me that the author of The Hungry, Hungry Caterpillar was secretly a Nazi, I'd be mad at you because I'd be like, yo! But like, I'm an adult now. I can accept that there are conflicting emotional investments here. I don't know. Someone says, fucking Rosie Bird TV is like, my sister Tyler is like, I've read the book so many times in the past, looks away in shame. If you already paid for them, nothing you can do. I think if you're not giving her new money, that's the important thing. And SG says, I think everyone's got a different threshold. Most works I read haven't read the backstories of the creators. Maybe I'm too lazy, so I usually just judge the work by itself. Fair enough, honestly, SG. I respect that. I understand that because like, we're in an environment where you cannot always read the background and everything. For example, I'm reading a book right now, and this is where you guys know my political opinions. I'm not secretive about them. But I'm reading a book right now called How to Blow Up a Pipeline. It's a book about climate change. It's a book about the author's ideal way to get to proper climate care, and all the things that are in the way of that is the more or less simpler version of it. The best ways to invest your time in to make the climate better. And like, it's a book that is very openly, I agree with. But fundamentally, if I met the author, Andreas Malm, and he turned out to be like a weird racist, I don't know if he is. Like, I don't know if he is right now. And if I found out he was, I don't know if it's going to stop me from thinking that this book is a good, helpful, meaningful, valuable book. Same goes for a lot of things that I've looked at, especially if I've already bought them. And I'm not buying them again. I love Harry Potter so much. Got me through worse times, but still, fuck JKR. Yeah. The word what's that clickhole article again? The worst person you know just had a good opinion, just made a point. Like I don't know if anyone remembers that article. This is if you guys don't know clickhole, it's this. It used to be this like I don't even know how to explain clickhole. But like it's literally this is very much a the worst person you know just had a good opinion moment. Honestly, let me see if I can find it. Paris in chat. Oh, there it is. There it is. I found it. Heartbreaking. The worst person you know just made a great point moment. Like that's sometimes the problem. Paris in chat says, I know the world of HP for me is so nostalgic and magical, but like JKR is woof. Can't deny the fact I grew up with HP as they came out in theaters and how comforting the movies are. It's so upsetting. And I think when it comes to the Scott Adams thing, there's a lot of Dilbert fans that exist. And I'm going to say this right now. Most Dilbert fans now are just a bunch of pseudo white nationalists. Like a lot of them are. But like I agree. Like there's going to be that heartbreak if you actually just read Dilbert and you were really blind to the problems of Dilbert. That like that would cause you a little bit of discomfort, a little bit of upset. I do think that there's no real disconnecting personally. I don't think there's any real disconnecting artist, writer, creators, any level of involvement from the actual output. The same way that I'm not watching Shazam 2 because the actor in there is a weird anti-vaxxer, if I remember correctly. He's a weirdo, is my point. And you know, I'm not engaging with that because of that. Like it's very difficult to engage with media like that anymore. I know it's happening with the fucking Dilbert. Yeah. Rip the Office dads. They never had rights in the first place. Fuck. Office dads just getting the brunt of it. Rip middle America, modern day white suburban office dads. Wow. They never felt so disconnected, so attacked. The things that they love are going down one by one. Oh my God. Love that for us. Okay. And it's good conversation. I'm glad to know everyone's opinions on this, actually. It was really meaningful for me. Because I've always wanted to know what my community thinks about this. I love knowing what you guys think. So it's great when people tell me their thoughts on topics like this, especially. I promise you guys we talk about paper shortages today. Let's talk about paper shortages. Call out my dad. Let's talk about paper shortages. So, I want you guys to know that, like, right now, the comic industry is in a bit of a bind. It's in a bit of a bind. When I was in Denmark, I actually noticed this a lot more because I was talking to a lot of people there, a lot of comic creators there. They were telling a lot of comic creators, we were talking to a lot of comic store runners there, and they were telling us things like, you know, it's really hard to get new comics, or a lot of issue ones of comics have been put down, like, you know, basically put into out of print because the paper problem. It's hard to, instead of wasting money printing old stuff, we print only the newest stuff because, you know, we're running out of paper. There's not enough. The paper shortages are crazy. The resource shortages in general right now are really crazy. And you know, for me, that's something that's really come to mind because right now the industry is gearing itself for another coming year of more shortages affecting them. People are talking about how most sales are going to go down in 2023, especially because a lot of people, due to COVID kind of letting up a lot more in most places, and during the end of last year and beginning of this year, a lot of printing has started up again. So even though there was already a shortage before, this seems there's going to be an even bigger shortage as more and more people are spending more and more of their money getting printing done. You know, because they want to get those issues they didn't have out, get a million extra 1,000 copies printed. And in the face of all of that, even with that possible boom, quote unquote, in printing coming up, maybe there's also still there's also like a reduction of people in the printing space, like companies in the printing space, in terms of the reduction of staff sizes and company sizes. With Diamond, you guys know Diamond Publishing. They used to do a lot of the pushing of IP and stuff for almost every big publisher back in the day. Now, not as much. But Bleeding Cool released an article where they're talking about their plan to shrink their size and shipping fees, but mostly their size by 40%, because and it looks like it's in large part because they can't afford to they can't afford to maintain like their current size as a company, but they're also looking to find a way to reduce overall costs because costs are increasing in other environments and other places. It's very interesting to see. Coming into the 2023, the year of the economic downturn. So, I wonder how that's going to play going forward. I'm just very interested in it, to be honest. I'm just very interested in what's going to be coming up, what's going to be happening, especially with Webtoon releasing a lot of their print editions this year. Is this going to lead to a situation where like a lot of the print editions are on back order? Because we all know that the people are going to order them like crazy. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that in the face of the paper shortage and the face of all these companies shrinking in size to reduce costs, but also finding ways to increase, to also reduce overall shipping costs. Do you think we're entering into a year where there's going to be it's going to be cheaper to buy a comic? It's going to be more expensive to buy a comic? I don't really know. I think it's going to be more expensive overall because like, while they might be reducing shipping costs, I am aware that a lot of book prices are just going up. I'm aware that a lot of book prices are going up. And that's something I'm concerned about. I know that's a lot of things to put on your plates at once. But that's kind of what I've been thinking about all day today, pretty much. I've been in a conversation with one of my friends, and that's all I've been looking at, reading about. And I've looked around again as well about this, and like it seems to be like a full industry thing going on, where the paper shortages are affecting everyone's ability to print, but also the economic downturn is affecting everyone's ability to maintain staff. Paris really hit on the Webcomics Hub tradition of saying things get more expensive because capitalism bad. You're not wrong, Paris. I think so too. I bought a lot of comics when I was in Denmark, and like, while I know Denmark has an inflated price, the prices were already way higher than I thought they would be anyway. But that's just because the average price of a novel, graphic novel, a book, comic, it's gone up. I'm buying books used, and I'm still buying them at higher prices than I ever would have before. Recently got a copy of Black and British, a book about growing up in the UK as a minority, and like, that's more expensive. That was it should have been $5. I got it. I had to pay like 10, which doesn't sound like a lot, but like it's a big jump meaning that like people are buying it at higher prices and selling it at higher prices. So, it's an interesting thing to see. As well. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about that. That's something that's been on my mind. I just wanted to let people know, if you're planning to print, get your prints in early. The paper shortage might get worse throughout the year. The paper shortage might get much worse throughout the year. Okay, so remember like a year ago, like last year, maybe it was actually 2 years ago. I think it was last year though. I talked to you guys about unions. And if you work at any company on this planet and you have a union, please join them. Please join your local union. Always join the union. But I talked to you guys about unions, and specifically about two unions: the union for 7Cs, the United Workers for 7Cs, and I talked to you guys about the Comic Book Workers United, a union that formed at Image Comics. Well, some good news: 7Cs has finally recognized the union, which is wonderful. That doesn't mean their work is over. That doesn't mean everything's done. But it's great to know that 7Cs is willing to acknowledge the union and is talking with them, and they're negotiating and getting specifics down. I'm hoping that now that their work is a little bit more done, I will try and see if I can get the people running these unions to come and talk on the show, so they can talk to us about comic unions, why they care, why they think it's so important, etc. Because I think it's really important for you guys to know about unions, and think about whether you should form something similar to unions, like collectives, in the webcomic space as you're making your webcomics and webtoons and web novels, especially, etc. But I also have further good news to bring out. That is that Image Comics is also recognizing their union, right? And also recognizing their union, I believe. And they have, and the union themselves have ratified their first what they call union contract. So their minimum viable contract that they think is good to put forward as like, hey, this is what an industry minimum should be, at least at Image. And it's wonderful to see a lot of union action. I'm doing follow-ups on these kind of stories because I think they're really important. All this information about the Image Comics and Seven Seas stuff comes from Rich Johnston at Bleeding Cool, because they're fucking bleeding cool, right? Like they give a lot of great stuff. They have a lot of great information. It's great to see. It's great to see the industry as a whole, or at least in small, even if it's just small pockets of the industry, moving towards a more equal, more fair environment. And I hope to see more of us doing that. Webcomic creators, keep your minds together. You can make unions too. Just figure out how. But there's a way to make a union or a collective. Get that bag, get that paper, get that money. Okay. Actually, question before I go on: would you guys join a union or a collective? Would you join one? What is the thing you hope to achieve if you join a union or a collective? I would love to know what what you guys think. And like as creators, as webcomic creators, as artists, as web novel writers, as video makers. I know one or two of you make videos. Would you join a union? Would you prefer a specific union for your company? So like, you make content, or a collective for your company. So like you make comics for Tapas, so you have the Tapas Collective. Or would you like a more general union for every single webcomic thing at once? That'd be something I'm interested to understand what you guys think. Because I joined a union, obviously, and I always join unions, and I always tell people to join unions. You should always join the union. And recently my union went on strike, and really good. In a heartbeat, unions are great for managing workers' rights. I wish they were more common. I think the version of unions for webcomic creators is collectives, because collectives just work under the collective bargaining power thing. So I think for us, it's a lot harder to organize in the typical union fashion. So collectives are our best bet. So I wonder if you guys would also join those as creators. I keep wanting to make a collective, like a webcomic collective, but I'm always lazy about it. I get 90% of the way through it, and then I just kind of I write a lot of the documentation. I have pages and pages of collective rights and collective plans and stuff that I want to do if I run a collective, and I just can't be bothered. But I feel like the community would really benefit from one or two collectives being very common, being very ubiquitous and big, not just running their own websites, but working with these bigger platforms like Webtoon and Tapas and stuff. But I don't know if you guys would join that. Yeah, let me know. Let me know what you think about those. Anyway, while that's going on, someone's always writing a long union message. Anyway, while that's going on, I'm just going to kind of transition us from all these difficult topics to a funnier topic. We're 30 minutes in, which means I can now move on to the big topic of the day. So you guys remember Tapas, right? The one in the thumbnail. I feel like a lot of creators have seen this around. Tapas did not steal money, not yet. I want to just say really quickly, I've spoken to Mikin, Violin. I can't tell you what we've talked about. I can't say more than that, but I can say I've spoken to them. So I'm coming from a more informed perspective. Best way to put it, right? So I'm going to be very level-headed. None of the companies listen to us when we chirp with them solo. Honestly, yeah. None of the companies ever listen to us when we chirp with them solo. Maybe if we chirp together, where we just bitch together. We bitch together. A family that bitches together wins together. So, I'm gonna take you guys through this whole thing like this. Tapas is owned by Kakao Corp. And Kakao Corp is a company from Korea that has always had a webcomics aspect from Korea. But did you know that sometime last year, and I spoke about it at the beginning of this year, but throughout all of last year and the end of 2021, they have been kind of embroiled in a little bit of a controversy. This is from Korea Jungang Daily. Yeah, they do hate me. It's very funny. This is from Korea Jungang Daily. Korea Jungang Daily talks about how Kakao was forced to re-examine how it treats Webtoon artists. Kakao has a notoriously bad reputation of treating Webtoon creators awfully. And even the CEO had to grovel, saying, I realized that, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit so this is easier to see. This is a little bit easier to see. But they go, I realize, oh God, it's so hard to like show things on this goddamn screen. I realize that we have only been looking at how much we have grown over the years and may have been arrogant during that process. That should be it. So this is said by the CEO of Kakao Entertainment. The Kakao Group essentially was being challenged by the government because of the fundamental truth that is they have underpaid their workers and they have made them work awful conditions. It's why as of the beginning of this year there was kind of like a workers' rights thing going on in Korea for webcomic creators, and it was good. I talked about it in one of the earlier podcasts. I believe the first one of the year is when I talked about it. So go check that out if you haven't yet. Summer 2023. So the first one of 2023. So that's like, Kakao's already had problems with worker rights. Already had problems with the way they communicate with creators and the fact that like, and there's a whole bunch of stuff to unpack about that issue in Korea that I wish I had time for, but we don't. But today, a creator that, I believe we all kind of know. We all know now, at least. I think we've all known about for a while. Mikin Violin tweeted. She did not tweet. She because this is on Tapas' dumb thing. She posted on her Tapas account, basically, saying, Hi everyone, I got some sad news to share. The first is that there will no longer be a Sound of Bread Season 2. Studio Tapas underwent drastic changes shortly after Kakao's acquisition, and The Sound of Bread was amongst the ones cancelled. Tapas wants to hold the IP to the series, so I cannot continue it even if I wanted to. The second is more personally painful to me, and I'm still in shock that this happened. When Tapas sent over the cancellation of Season 2's contract, they also sent over a cancellation of Season 1, which I stupidly signed, because I wasn't reading carefully. But Season 1 is complete, so all this cancels is my revenue share. That's right, I no longer make a single cent off any chapters you unlock of Sound of Bread as of late last year. I've been working with Tapas in the hopes that this was a good faith error, but just received final confirmation that they will not do anything about it, and I am certain now that it was intentional. I have heard similar stories from other creators. As such, I'd like to reverse my previous stance on pirating. Pirate away, she says. Yes, I'm petty. At this point, I'd rather you pirate Sound of Bread than give Tapas a single goddamn cent. She didn't say goddamn, that's artist interpretation. Don't pirate other series, though. If you would like to support me, please donate to my Ko-Fi. You can also send me ink, but Ko-Fi is preferred. Lastly, I will no longer be publishing on Tapas. I've spent many sleepless nights agonizing over this issue, especially as I have made some career changes while naively counting on my revenue share and script fees. And these days, the thought of updating on Tapas literally makes me feel sick. I will also no longer be maintaining any of my free community features that I have made, such as Tapas fans or the Chrome extensions. I do intend on creating more web novels or comics in the future, still figuring out where. Please stay tuned. Again, my deepest apologies to the readers who have been waiting so eagerly for Season 2. It's a real low. It's a real low, kids. I just want to say before I move on to anything else, and I'm saying this because I think Mikin Violin deserves this, and I think Mikin Violin has done themselves a little bit of a disservice by really not publishing this. But if you want to support Mikin, there are other places that they put up their work, namely Royal Road, right? And I think the name says Michin. Hold on, who speaks Chinese here? That Q is a CH, right? That's a CH. Anyway. Michin Violin, right? Luxifer does not speak Chinese. Oh, no, she does not. Anyway, that Mikin Violin, they put their work up on Royal Road. They have a Ko-Fi under the same name, Mikin Violin. This is their Royal Road comic, Royal Road book, Illusory. So if you want to support them, please check out work like this or other work that they've made. I would say support them, don't support Tapas. That's my personal on this. Okay, just wanted to make sure that was out there, that was known. They have a Royal Road, they have a Ko-Fi. They've got Twitter. Follow them on Twitter. I believe their Twitter account is this. Yeah, this is their Twitter account. at Meek and Violin. You know, give them a follow. Tell them I sent you. I'm just reloading the page. Sorry. Give them a follow. Tell them I sent you, and just give them the love that they did not get from the people that they cared about, the people that they worked for, people that should have cared about them as much. Yeah, I just want to start from there. I think it's good to start with the positive things, move on to the salt. Okay, cool. Okay, so I just want to, I'm going to now do another thing, which is be very fucking annoying, right? And you guys have to bear with me. The number one problem with everything that has happened involving Meekin is that Meekin did not, from what I've read, did not read their contract. From what the content that is in front of me has said, and from that, they did not read their contract properly. And I'm not going to come at them for it because frankly, you're like, I don't even know how old Meekin is, but like, I'm willing to bet that they are not older than 30. Dude, I'm not here to make you feel bad. I get it. I signed my job contract. I didn't fucking read it. What am I going to say to you? I get it. Okay, I get it. But I'm going to use this as a bouncing off board to be like, please, I'm begging you, okay? Someone clip this part because I'm about to fucking yell. I'm begging you. Your friend sent you this fucking video because you don't fucking read contracts. Read them, or I swear to God, I will beat you with a chancla. You stupid bitch. Oh, fuck you. Read your contracts before you sign them. You dumb idiots. We've seen this story like a million times. Getting taken advantage of because we trust people. I get it. You trust people because you're nice. You're wonderful. You're a lovely person. Don't be a fucking idiot. Fuck me, dude. Don't be a fucking idiot. Because you're not a fucking idiot. Always read contracts. No matter who sends you the fucking contract. I don't care if it's the guy from your IT department. I don't care if it's the editor that you grew up with. I don't care if you fucked this person last night. Read the contract. I don't care if they're your mom. Read the contract. And when you read that goddamn contract, listen to me. Complain if you don't like something. If something is a problem for you, be a bitch. Be a fucking asshole. This contract shit will take you 9 months. And you know what? It's better that you spend 9 months in limbo than spend 9 months in bullshit. Like, don't. 9 months in limbo. Read, reread. Fucking, as Eddie says in chat, tattoo it on the forehead of your enemies. Read the goddamn contract. I'm begging you. I say this with love. Read that contract. And if you don't like anything, complain until you get what you want, or until the contract falls through, or you get at least something close to what you're okay with accepting. Do never accept shit from these fucking vampires. Because they are vampires. They will suck you, and not in the nice way, not in the sexy way, okay? If you can afford a lawyer, get a lawyer. If you can't afford a lawyer, read contract law. Learn about the laws in the country that you're operating in. And the country you're operating will always be the country the company is operating in, because that's where their contracts are made for. Okay? If it violates any laws in your local country, important that you know that too. Read about contract law. Read about media law. Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you should add another one job to your life, but try and at least be somewhat aware of the laws around media and around contracts in your country and in the country of the company you want to work with. Okay? And if you're not sure if you're saying, oh, I can't find anything on my country, I live in a third world country, we don't have online resources for this, go to the library. Every single third world country has this in one of their local libraries that are very rare, but they exist, or the local commission, and ask them for a copy of the laws. They can give you books on law, or buy legal books from your country online or around the area, or go to a local university that teaches law and you can buy legal books from the students there. Just something Something is better than fuck all. Okay? Please. If you're not signing contracts with these people, please publish your content as much as you want. But if you are signing anything, before you sign it, read it. Even before you post on the platform, read it. A great example of that is web novel. I think that's what they're called. Web novel, whatever, right? The Chinese novel company. They actually say, they have like a bunch of really sketchy shit in their terms of service. Read that shit too. Like, I'm not about to be that bitch, but like, I'm about to be that bitch. Like, read. That's all I have to fucking say to you. Anyway, now that we've had our regular scheduled contract law thing, I need to move on to the Kakao pit. Kakao still is a fucking shithead in this matter. I just want to be clear. Like, I'm scolding you for not doing what Meekin should have done. But fundamentally, that's not their fault. They're one person, right? They make mistakes. We all make mistakes, but I will always remind you to please avoid making mistakes. But fundamentally, the problem that seems to be occurring at Kakao, and this is stuff that I know from stuff that I'm aware of, is that Kakao, if you guys don't know this, Tapas is owned by Kakao. Acquired by Kakao, despite the fact that Chang Kim, the CEO, said it wasn't going to be, lied about it up until the 0th hour, and I broke the news on the forum. Yes, that account is me. I think it's called Sonic Fan or whatever. That's me. Anyway, so but like fundamentally, Kakao bought Tapas, Radish, and a whole bunch of stuff. And in their last investor report, they've basically been blaming the content made in the Americas, the NA content, the globalized content, for why they're losing some money. Why instead of making $1 billion last year, they made $800 million last year, right? So they've been blaming a lot of it on that, along with some server problem they had. And as part of that, they've been restructuring Studio Tapas, combining Tapas, Radish, and the Chinese novel company Wuxia World into one conglomerate organization. And as such, there have been some serious changes in the way Studio Tapas is operating. This isn't the first thing I've heard about Studio Tapas operating strangely, but they are operating differently. And as such, it's not surprising to me that this is happening. It's not surprising me that this is occurring. And it's very unfortunate that this is happening to a creator like Meekin. Okay, fuck, someone needs to tell me, is this Meekin or Meekin? Is this Korean or Chinese? I'm just gonna fucking get this over with. Is this Korean or Chinese? Tell me now. And also, if it is this Meekin or Meekin? Put me out of my misery while I finish this story. The Studio Tapas thing isn't actually the most unusual thing that's going on right now. A lot of these webcomic companies are hitting this fucking wall, right? A lot of these comic companies are hitting these fucking walls. And I want to say this to you now. The reason why it's happening, I've said for basically a year on this podcast. The last 3 years, all of these stupid fucking companies bought everything on debt. They overhired. They hired tons of people. It didn't matter. They hired tons of people. And they bought everything they own, they bought on debt. Everything they own is debt, and everything they're doing is paying back interest. And as such, they're operating now with such a lower amount of free capital. And then you can add on to that, that like these companies are also right now feeling the stress of investor expectations of year-on-year eternal growth. And I think maybe for a lot of you might be thinking that's what the tech industry is doing. These are fucking, IP companies. These are comic companies, right? They're not tech companies, they're comic companies. And I'll tell you what a really good friend of mine told me in a really long conversation. Every single one of these companies is a tech company, IP farm, data hoarder, tech company, IP farm, data salesman, masquerading as a media company. All of them. Global Comics, fucking Tapas, Webtoon, all of them. And I love global comics. You guys know this, but I have to be honest with you about this. They're all doing that. They're all this. Whether they want to admit it or not, whether they believe they are or not, maybe they act differently from what they are, but that is what they fundamentally are in the marketplace, okay? In the media marketplace, that is what they are. And in that marketplace that they operate like that, in that marketplace where they operate like that, with that level of, with that kind of like label on themselves, their behavior is one in which you, as a creator, is fucking worthless because you're not their product. You are at best honey on a fly trap. You are honey on a fly trap to them. The flies are the audiences who data they harvest and sell. I'm not saying that all of them sell data. I know for a fact that the GC does not sell data, but, and at GC I mean global comics, but they all fundamentally gather data on you. Data harvesting is their job. And all we are as creators are honey. We attract the stooges whose data that they take and sell to advertisers for actual money. As a creator, if you think you brought in $6 million, if you brought in $6 million last year, in terms of just like, Fast Pass or Daily Pass or whatever, they made way more money than that on ads from you that year, 100%. They made way more money than that on ads just off of you. If you brought in $6 million in Fast Pass, Daily Pass, whatever, that year they made way more money than that on you, just in ads, because that's how little they consider you a meaningful asset. You are there to attract people to spend their money, but fundamentally those people are better served as material to be sold for ad spots. And Tapas acting like this is not unusual when you realize that they think of their creators, they think of the people that work on their platform as these tools and not as people. They are not nice people. I am like really angry about this story because, especially after talking with Michin, I'm just gonna say Michin because fuck it, no one's able to give me a straight answer. After talking with Michin about this, I'm really fucking angry about this. I'm really angry because this isn't the first time Tapas has acted like shit. And this isn't the first time these companies act like shit. This isn't the first time Tapas themselves have acted like shit. It's upsetting that they would do this to a creator like Michin, who is so like big, such a meaningful part of their community. If you don't know this, Michin, if you don't know this, like before I even go to this, before I know this, back in the day, they had the first refusal bullshit. Then they did those shady changes to TOS post-purchase, and now this shit, right? And Michin, as a community member, has been nothing but lovely. She made Tapas fans a search tool to allow people to find comics better based on tags and other resources, because Tapas is search for shit. She's made tons of extensions for Tapas. Like, she's enhanced the community. A person who is such a meaningful part of your community, and that's what you do to them? Are you high? Like, fuck. Like, at the beginning, I was like, maybe there's a problem here. Maybe she made a mistake. But at the end of the day, she and like, I think I can say this because she said this. I'm just gonna make sure I can say this actually. Sorry, gang. I need to make sure I'm maintaining my confidentiality. Okay, I can't. Anyway, but Michin themselves has also like just basically had to go pirate my comic. And that's upsetting. That's so upsetting. Imagine you work so long, so hard on something, and like you write so much, you draw so much, and then fundamentally at the end of the day, you have to just hang up your hat. Fucking give in. You don't even make money off of what you made because instead of like offering you a non-shady deal, they offer you a shady deal, and you, trusting the people that work there, you hope that they gave you a decent deal. You sign it in trust. It's insane. And the thing is, I'm so sure Michin didn't even have the benefit of like being able to communicate with them because they're restructuring right now. The company is restructuring, and I don't know if you guys have worked in a company when it's restructuring, but like things just fall into the cracks. things just fall into the cracks. So, Michin said this is very painful. She's been talking to them. She says in there, this is something that it was a very difficult decision to make. She talked to them. She tried to communicate with them. So fuck knows how long they left her on hold, how badly they treated her. These companies don't fucking care about you at all. This is the part where, sorry, I'm just going to be making a little joke, but this is the part where on Twitter, Global Comics Chris will be like, and that's what we're seeking to change. He'll reply like that under a tweet. He hasn't done that. He's super nice. But this is what I'm just thinking that whenever something bad happens in the industry, that's one of the replies he puts up. And I think that's very cute. I just think that's really cute. But yeah, it doesn't matter how much you do for these people. It doesn't matter how much you enhance the communities. And you know what this makes me think? What it makes me think of? A lot of this behavior has become more pronounced because after the right of first refusal bullshit, Tapas pretty much stops, right? They stop being really shitty mostly. Things ramp up in shittiness more recently. But one of the things that's made me think of is have you guys noticed that Tapas has really changed their focus for the community away from the forum and towards the Discord server? It's a very small thing. Let me just be fair. But I believe they've done that because the forum is uncontrollable. The forum is literally uncontrollable. If the forum says something is important news, it stays at the top of the news thing for the entire week. But in a Discord server, important news can get drowned out by people trying to avoid it, talking about different things, or just anything. I think that the big part of the reason why they moved away from the forum is because they want to have more control over the news that they show. They want to be able to essentially stop people from putting this out there and talking about them and the problems that they cause. They want to stop people from having a stronger voice. I genuinely think that. And that's fucked. Because the forum is uncontrollable. During the acquisition, the forum was basically the only place where you found really meaningful news. They knew that the acquisition was coming before it happened. Tapas lied about it to their faces because they can't control that place. The Discord might have one active mod, but that's not the problem. The problem is when you have a chat log, it's harder for things to be relevant information. And then Georgie, by the way, Georgie, good to see you. It's been so fucking long. Georgie's an OG fan, guys. I gotta just, respect, right? Good to see you, Georgie. But Georgie says in chat as well, this is interesting to add, but the guy who pretty much created Wuxia World resigned from the CEO position and will not be part of the managing team either. It's part of their restructuring. They're being really shitty. Because the thing is, Tapas knows, so I don't know if you guys know this, but when a company acquires another company, there's a bunch of clauses that have to be put in. So for example, let's say I was acquired by Webtoon, right? Webtoon would give me a clause that would say, I, the CEO of this company, can't quit for X amount of time, right? But they tend to only do that when they have, for the most prominent CEO, if they're acquiring multiple companies that are very related. What has most likely happened is Chang Kim, who was given a quasi-managerial position over at Kakao Corp, which is what he sold his fucking soul for. Chang Kim, I don't like him. Chang Kim, tech bro idiot that he is probably on a contract where he can't quit working at Kakao or Tapas for the next 2 or 3 years during this acquisition process to maintain the confidence that the application will stay quote unquote the same. But the Wuxia World creator, for a platform that's not as big as Tapas, not as culturally relevant, probably isn't under the same. And as soon as he realized that things weren't going the way they wanted, just left. Because what's the fucking point? Why be part of this nightmare that they're creating? Kakao has basically been doing their massive expansion into the Western, quote unquote, North American market. That's what they call all of us who speak English. We're a fucking monolith. Whatever. But into the North American market, they've been doing their expansion. And as they do that, they continue to show the callous, unflinching, horrible Kakao that was willing to leave creators in such an awful state in Korea that it took a government inquiry for them to change. They're showing their ass in public more and more and more, day on day in, day out. And it's fucking ridiculous. And Kakao will, Tapas will bring a million reasons as to why we shouldn't feel sorry for this creator, but we should, because the creator gave so much to this company, and all they were asking for was respect. And Kakao and Tapas couldn't even respect them enough to not give them a shit deal. Couldn't even respect them enough to not give them a shit deal. And that is the most infuriating fucking thing to me. Because the fundamental problem here isn't that she signed the wrong contract, blah, 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 blah. The fundamental thing to me is that they didn't respect them enough. They didn't respect Michi and Violin enough to give them a deal that wasn't shit. And they probably just hoped she would sign and not read it. Like all these shitty companies do. Like all these shitty people in the industry do. And I'm not saying that our industry is specifically the only one with awful people, but there's a lot of shitty people in comics. Fuck you, pay me people in comics. And it's so frustrating when regular people are involved. Yeah, Kakao bought Wuxia World, Radish, which is like Royal Road and Wattpad is like a novel company, and Tapas, and they're merging into one company. Yeah, crap like that shouldn't be in the contract in the first place. Like they shouldn't. Like I've seen Webtoon contracts. I've never seen Tapas contracts, and I would love to see Tapas contracts, because not to like publicize them. I don't publicize any contracts that I'm given, but I do like to that I'm given. By the way, keyword given. But I do like to look at them so that I can understand how the different platforms are operating. Because while people think that everything is like unified, it really isn't, and we should be doing more contract comparisons between ourselves to ensure that we are being treated appropriately, or at least we should be trying to share more generic versions of our contract to ensure that we are treated appropriately. But fundamentally, like even Webtoon doesn't act like this, usually. Usually they don't act like this. So this is not like a small kind of shitty behavior. It's like pretty fucking big. It's like pretty crap. It's so predatory because they're fucking predators. They're fucking animals. These debt-wheeling fucking dumbass bitches are fucking animals. Fuck me, dude. We live in hell. We live in hell. Like, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I have to read these articles. I have to read these news articles, follow these stories, and read. I've been reading Kakao Corp's. I've been reading Kakao Corp's like investor reports, consolidated statements of income, stuff like that, to try and understand where the money is being lost. But there's no loss of money. They've complained. I was listening to their investor call. They've complained that like a lot of their revenue loss comes from the fact that that Western comics are costing so much, and Western media and their globalization is costing so much. But fundamentally, globalization for them is growing on year on year. So I don't know what the globalized content is growing year on year with a 16% increase this year in revenue. So what the fuck are they talking about? Like what? They were so proud to fucking dance around the Tapas acquisition when they made it. It was a headline in their investor call. We bought Tapas. And like when it's time to like treat Tapas creators and Tapas people like people, they can't do that. And you might tell me, well, it's just Tapas operating like shit. Kakao has nothing to do with it. Yeah, maybe, but that's worse. That's, in my opinion, worse. Like, what? It's so fucking stupid. It's so fucking stupid. Speaking of which, I actually I'm just going to use this time as a thing. If you're a Korean, if you're a Korean or live in Korea or have a Korean passport, you can buy stocks in Korea. Frankly, please reach out to me. I need help buying stocks in Korea. I need to get into more of these calls, these investor calls. And like the only way to do that is to buy stock. So here we are. Patreon, that's where your money is going. I'm buying stock in Korea. I hope you're okay with that, Paige. Let me just read some chat because it's fucked up. Unionization is the only thing as an artist that we can do to combat monopolization. You are totally right, Gene. Oh, Gene, you beautiful soul. Gene is completely right. As creators, we should spend more time being in more collectives. Create collectives, not based with people, not because you like people, but based around the shared belief that you should be treated well. Work in collectives, work in groups, okay? Work for the betterment of the entire community and not just for the betterment of yourself. I feel like North American comics has this, North American comics especially, has this reputation of fuck you, paint, fuck you, got mine, right? Where creators are so busy looking out for themselves, they don't look out for others, for each other, for the group. Not understanding that if we don't look out for the group, we're all fucked, right? And like, that's so fucked up. We need to be operating more in collectives. And I say North American comics, I mean like English-speaking comics, because unfortunately most of our comics are from that shit fucking continent. I hate North America. I don't feel bad for saying that. Like, there's so much. Like, you know, like this industry really grinds you down. From Webtoon spending a lot of the early 2014, 15, 16 campaigns telling creators that that featured was the way for them to get a living wage as creators, to Tapas just showing their ass constantly. The big two in our industry just regularly remind us as to why a lot of people in our industry quit, because this place is so fucking hostile. So we need to make sure we do everything we can to make it a lot less hostile for us and a lot more hostile for them. Kakao is the cordyceps from The Last of Us. Fuck off. Paris is like, these places are so greedy and predatory. It's so infuriating that they're getting away with preying on artists they think are gullible enough to sign a shady contract that shouldn't even exist. You're totally right. As a North American, that's fair. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just, you know, your continent kind of sucks ass. It's not your fault, you know? And I should say, you know, it's not the worst continent. You know, America's got corn dogs. That's a lot for me. I don't like Korean corn dogs. They suck. I really like American corn dogs. They're really good. Like, there's a reason for me to move to the US. It's genuinely as corn dogs. I'm not even trying to fuck around no more. So like, you know, it's not terrible. The capitalist life cycle. Like, holy shit. And I'm so sure a lot of these crunches, a lot of these shrinkages are occurring as a result of Kakao and their insistence to make not just some money, but all the money in the fucking world. It's like, I need to remind you, they made $1 billion in 2021, but in 2022 they made $810 million. Like that's their oh no moment. Like that's the thing that's upsetting them. And I wanted to be clear, Naver is part of this shit too. So let's just make this. I mean, this is not me picking on Tapas. They're all fucking bad. They're all fucking bad, and they hide everything in their earnings reports because they know that I'm reading them now, and everyone else is reading them too. Also, can I just show you guys something? This is completely unrelated to everything we've talked about today. That's a lie. It's kind of related. So Kakao has made a lot of really big investments this year. The past year, actually, they've made a lot of massive investments. In fact, I'll show you some of this stuff that I think I can show you. One of the big ones Kakao's made a lot of investments into, really, is their story division. That's what they call all their comics, media, and stuff. But another big thing they've made a lot of investments into is, get ready for it, drum roll, please, kids. Drum roll. Slam on the table, whatever you want to do, the drum roll. It's completely irrelevant to this topic. Blockchain. Blockchain. Kids, get yourself some of them NFTs. Get yourself some of them crypto coins. Kakao owning solo leveling is the worst fucking thing. Solo leveling has so many NFTs, which might have been created by the creator, genuinely, but a lot of them are being sold through Kakao's in-house NFT trading platform. It is so upsetting. I talked about this last year, but it's so upsetting. They do go hard, though. I stole a few of them, put a few of them on Twitter, but they do go hard. But like, yeah, blockchain. That's part of their fourth quarter this is part of their earnings report. Just let me show you the evidence. This is the Kakao, third quarter earnings report. I have the fourth quarter one too. They talk about this there. But like, blockchain is a big topic of conversation in here. Blockchain is here, their music, and this is their stuff on Story if you want to see it. Just so you know. They're really proud of their growth as they slam Tapas, Radish, and Wuxia World into one company. This is from third quarter 2022. I've been reading all of them today just to make sure I'm all together. I wish I could go back 2 minutes ago and never know this. Too fucking late, Kiki. Welcome to the Webcomics Hub experience. Information that you never wanted but definitely need to know. Capitalism, right? Am I right? Hey. Just fucking kill me. I have spent a lot of time going over this information, and I tried to lead with the positive news, guys. I tried to lead with some of the positive news. You know, no one can say I didn't. And I'm gonna be honest with you, don't pirate other comic creators' work. I would love to do a little bit of a breakdown of there was this study released from Korea about the worries that Korean creators are worried about, specifically about things that upset them in the community, in the creator community. And I would love to take that study and talk to a few actual Korean creators, because I think there's a lot more that study isn't showing. But one day we'll get there. Maybe next month I'll get to it. But yeah, that's all the news I wanted to talk about today. I'm sorry that it was kind of sad. You know, this is a great time to tell me anything you were thinking. This is a great time to tell me the news that's on your mind. One of my friends is a top canvas creator who made Assassin's Girlfriend, gave up on making comics, told me she's going to look for a regular job. That sucks. That actually sucks. Because like comics has so much to offer. He's very much carrying the laugh through the pain vibes. Yeah, but like Misty, that's my whole deal, right? That's my whole deal. I laugh at every show because I don't want you guys to spend your whole time being miserable like me. Like me. You don't deserve to be miserable like me. You deserve to be happy. Anyway, guys, check out. Let me just read. It's very hard to webcomics these days. Yeah, it is, and I think there's a lot that we're missing. I don't think webcomics is our be all end all. I think there's a lot that we as creators are missing in terms of knowledge and information. And you know, for me, that's something that I really want to resolve for us, because I think maybe if we had more information, we had more knowledge, it would be easier for us to kind of get treated better in the art industry. You know, I think that'd be really easy for us to do. So hopefully I can bring something like that to you someday, to this channel, and you know, we can all learn and gain from that together. But till then, follow me on Twitter. I've got a Ko-Fi now, by the way, too. I got a Ko-Fi now. Follow me on Twitter. I've got a Ko-Fi. It's called I think it's Webcomics Hub. I think that's the name of our Ko-Fi. If you want to give me a $1, a one-off donation. But you can also go to my Patreon. Patreon.com/Webcomics Hub, where I put a lot of exclusive content and early stuff that's been and random videos that I make just for the patrons. Ask them. They can give. I've got some testimonials from some of them right now. This content made me cry because the quality of it was so bad. So yeah, definitely you should join my Patreon. That's a lie. No one said that. I made that up just now. But yeah, definitely you should join my Patreon. And as a creator, just, you know, you just fucking, you know, just be part of that. Be part of that. My Patreon is a $1 and up Patreon, so you can submit as much or as little as you like, from a minimum of $1 up to a maximum of whatever you want. And if you do that, you know, you'll be not only supporting me, but supporting the kind of content I make, and all the money goes into the things that I make for the channel. Anyway, thank you so much for your time. Thank you to my wonderful patrons whose lovely names will be scrolling on the screen right about now. I've been Nen, you've been awesome, and I'll see you guys next week. Also, a review video is on the way, by the way. And check out our shorts on TikTok and Instagram Reels. We make short content on those places, so you should probably go watch that, right? Like you should go watch that. It's pretty cool. You know, we work really hard on that, and thanks to my assistant for making stuff like that. All right, bye-bye.